Yeah, each year has a plaque to it. The years of occupation, 39, 40. Just the basin. Yeah, basins like for like, I'm sure they could light them up with fire. Oh, yeah. Have like a torch. Wow. Temporarily inaccessible. What? This is temporarily inaccessible. This is Majdanek.
Już jestem rozwalony. שהאימא שלך, כשאתה לא ראית את השיער שלה, כי זה היה מתרחיכים ככה, פה רואה את הפנים, לא רואה את השיער, אתה לרגע לא מזהה. אני מנסה להבין למה צריכה. למה הם אמרו צחוק? למה הם כמה צחקנו? ואז ושוב בכינו כי נגנו מקום. חבר'ה, אני נכנסתי לתודעה כמה שיער משמעותי לאנשים, כמה שיער משמעותי.
Remembers his first hours in Majdanek like this. Upon running into the bathhouse barracks, we entered directly into a small prison room filled with prisoners from our transport. Here, the barbers went to orphanage, shaking our hats, and all the way out of Lublin. So the changing room that he's talking about was the first room that we passed through with the sitting there. Thus prepared, we went into the showers, which were right hand. And just inside the door, there was a small concrete container, full of some kind of repulsive disinfectant fluid. Each of us had to get in and immerse ourselves up to our hats in that liquid. The SS men struck us all the while with their pens and tried to hold up our hats under. Then we had to line up under the showers and we were dosed first with hot water and then with cold water. A separate bunker. Extermination in gas chambers was organized in that times. We know for sure that this could not have been a gas chamber. This was an actual disinfection room. The prisoners' clothes were disinfected here with the use of cyclone B. And cyclone B is supposed to be used for that. It's not something that was invented for normal people. Actual product. Available on the market for disinfection. And these are like, I don't know if you were explaining maybe how like we use something like this. So you know where all has a cyanide dust in one. This is how it works. The gas chambers that were constructed in Majdanek at the end of summer 1942 were constructed in the building that was so-called bunker, and that's the building that we're going to enter in Lublin, further. And so this was a separate building called bunker. You can see that it's following the success of mass murdering of Jews in Ukraine after attacking Soviet Union. So October 1941, the decision to start organizing Operation Reinhardt was made, and the headquarters of Action Reinhardt were established here in Lublin, again because of Odilo Robotnik really wanted to run this operation in his district. And within Action Reinhardt, 3 main depots were constructed. That's Belvez, which started operating in March 1942, later Sobibor in June 1942, and then Kadina to Murat. So later in the summer, August 1942, Majdanek became part of Operation Reinhardt. And Majdanek had 2 functions. One, it was a death camp. Second, it was a huge storage place for the property of the victims of Action Reinhardt. So when the decision was made that Majdanek is going to be part of Action Reinhardt, around 7 gas chambers were constructed or under construction in Majdanek, but ultimately 2 were used to murder people, and these are those 2 which you see in the bunker. So the first one that you're passing is a so-called small gas chamber, the second is a so-called big gas chamber because it was bigger. The very small room in the middle is the operation room for the SS officers who turn the gas on and off. But very often this is not how it looked like, because having gas in those buttons you see here on the television is quite expensive. Not very efficient also. Honestly. And because Majdanek is part of Action Reinhardt, the main way of murdering people is exactly the same as in the Belgian Castle. It was not so local, but it was mainly for the military side. From the battle, again, it was quite expensive. To organize the apartment side from the engine or the car or tractor. When you go outside and look to the right, there was a small shaft that was just into the big gas chamber, and there was an engine which was turned on to pump the gas into the gas. Polish from southern Lublin area and from what is today Belarusian area. For all the side attractions, for all the very strong underground that they have in the forests over there, in 1943, Germans started for people from there. Another group of Polish children and Polish civilians being brought here in summer 1943 were Polish peasants from Zamoszczyzna, that's a great region around Zamość, south from Lublin. At that time, Germans were trying to prove that that region was essentially German, and they were like preparing the colonization of their region by the Germans, so they were collecting tens of thousands of Polish citizens, and many of them passed through Majdanek, many of them children. The conditions of living here were horrible for a grown-up, fit and strong person, not to mention for children. So the death rate among children was quite obviously very high, but the fate were tremendously different between the fates of Polish and Belarusian children and those Jewish. Polish and Belarusian children were here for transit. Some of them hold doors constructed in a way to keep people access for
telling the whole story.
what you're going to see in
morning canopy, but yeah, between the two, it's not there today. Like, imagine.
Were sent to Majdanek. 2,000 were released at the end of summer of 1943, and they were so emaciated, so exhausted that most majority of them died in Lublin.
until many, many years later. You don't see it unless you look for it. And that's the story behind this picture. Let's talk about this picture for a second. Okay, this picture is opposite the castle. We're going to see over here the castle in Lublin. And this was actually right by the entrance, not across the street of Jerusalemska, where is now a parking lot. It's on the other side, because even though the Jewish quarter was on the other side of the castle, it was next to the castle walls, and I'll show it to you in a picture over there. But the Jewish people expanded out, and they were allowed to live in different places. There's actually a gate in the old city in Lublin that was called the Jew Gate. Jews were not allowed to go past the Jew Gate. Okay? But this is still opposite the castle, and this is the ghetto. Now, you notice everyone is out on the street. Why are they out on the street? They're what? No, because you're locked in the ghetto. You can't go to work, you can't go to school. You're staying in apartments, 5, 10 families in an apartment. You're crazy. So people didn't know what to do. They went outside. They schmoozed. They couldn't, you weren't allowed to enter. If you were caught with a newspaper or a radio, you were shot. Special story.
Come on. Right. The last of them. Okay.
Building here to your left. Look at the shoe factory, the shoemakers there. It's various exhibits that come out, and we'll continue on the rest of the tour. We put out fires.
Field. So that's one thing. Another thing, we will also go to park they hosting exhibition. I don't know, it's France is so much about it.
Right?
lat po obozie jeszcze nie lubiłam siedzieć w pomieszczeniu, mając za sobą drzwi. Ale jeżeli już jest podstawowość latami, to jest
אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Now I can take a picture of you, right?
These are the most sacred stones that you can imagine. And, you know, probably for many Polish, it's satisfying connection to that. But for Jewish prisoners, this is a torture to welcome them. This is a desecration of a holy place for them. Majority of those tombstones were stolen from two old Jewish cemeteries from Lublin. Before the war, there were 3 Jewish cemeteries in Lublin. The so-called Old Jewish Cemetery, which survived in a very bad shape, but like some tombstones survived there. But it wasn't a functioning cemetery already from the end of 19th century. And there were 2 other cemeteries. One was called the New Cemetery with around 40,000 tombstones, completely destroyed, wiped out. And another cemetery, a cemetery in a neighborhood of Lublin called Gniewa, which was a shtetl and later a Jewish neighborhood of Lublin, also completely destroyed, wiped out. So 2 huge Jewish cemeteries, hundreds of years of a very vivid Jewish history of Lublin, were just wiped out in 1939 and 1940. So in 1939, just before World War II broke out, the population of Lublin was around 110,000. 43,000 people were Jewish. They lived in 3 Jewish neighborhoods, one of them in the very city around the old town of Lublin. They were a strong part of Lublin from 16th century. From 16th century, from the beginning of Jewish settlement in Lublin, throughout all these hundreds of years, Jews constituted between 30 to 50% of the population of the city. So of course their lives were part of the history of the city, and they were important, I don't know, journalists, writers. They were members of the city council of Lublin throughout all those years. It was a very important part of life of the city. And then on the 17th of March 1942, almost all of them were deported to Belgorod. This is how Operation Reinhardt started, with the liquidation of the Lublin ghetto. This was the first community to be sent to Belgorod, and this is how Belgorod started to operate. And within a few months, between March 1942 and November 1942, the Jewish population of Lublin was wiped out. The last execution of 180 Jews of Lublin happened on November 9, 1942, and from that moment Lublin was announced Judenrein. And after the war, of course, there were some survivors coming back to Lublin, and we don't know exact numbers. We estimate a few hundred people. The majority of them survived under Soviet occupation. We know only of 30 people who managed to survive under Nazi occupation, and they came back to Lublin, but they never stayed. The Jewish life never rebuilt in Lublin, and we don't have a community. Like, we have really, I think, around 40 people right now. This is not an independent community. This was a city that was once called the Jerusalem of the Polish Kingdom, with this great yeshiva, Lublin, which is the yeshiva, the rabbinical university of the wise of the Lublin, with the great tzaddik of the seer of Lublin, who's famous until today. People come visit his grave until today. With one of the greatest rabbi, Meir Shapiro, who introduced a modern way of studying Talmud, which is repeated until today in Talmudic schools around the world. This was all born in Lublin, and this was all wiped out between 1942 and 1943.
מה קורה לאלה שלא נכנסים לבתי הגזים, אלא עובדים כאן לרוב לא הולכים להשמדה כאן.
Is this your sweater? Oh, sorry. Oh, no, it's not mine. Oh. Maybe one from my group.
Excuse me.
I was concentrated on the reading, so sorry.
If not, I'll turn it in at the end.
No, take it.
The other ones were like, like in one big bed for like 5-6 people. She said 5,000 people in each one of these. That's crazy.
see. It was constructed in 1969, and it's a monument which has three parts. So the first part is this huge bridge behind us, which is like the shape of a gate. So I'm standing in a place where more or less the original main base of the camp used to be located, so every prisoner had to go through there, and it symbolizes like Dante's Divine Comedy, Gate to Hell. That's the whole gesture. So we didn't go over there, we didn't have the time to do that, but when you go under the cave, under the cave, you go down here, there's like a valley under it. So you go downhill, which represents the heaven of hell, prisoners, and there's Majdanek. Then, when you want to go up, leave this road. There's a very, very steep stairs. Then the second part is the memorial, is this road which we are taking, which is the road of Homage. And that's you're supposed to take this road, you have the campsite on your right, you're going towards the castle of the city. So take a moment to go through this road, think about the life of prisoners, look at the huge territory of the camp, reflect, pay your respect to the people. And then the last part of the memorial, the most important part, is this huge mausoleum, which is in front of us, where the ashes of 80,000 victims of Majdanek were put in. And later we're going to finish our tour there. So we can actually see the territory of the camp very well from here. And on the right-hand side, we can also see Lublin on the horizon. So, if you want to imagine how it looks.
but there were always some elements of bones left, and it was visible. So when the camp was liberated, the museum decided to collect all the human remains, all the ashes in one big mound of ashes in one place. And then in 1969, this mausoleum was built to protect the ashes from the rebels, and they were moved inside. And we just had a renovation of this monument, so we can go there upstairs and see. It's still there inside. But it seems it's successful. The burning was finished. There were no mass graves found so far. Until now, no, there were no mass graves. So the burning was finished. The same happened in Auschwitz, in Sobibor, in Treblinka, all the corpses were burned. And only people ash left in the ground.
So if we try to push down and tries to escape up, it keeps warming it, right? So it's like super efficient. One thing that they didn't think about,
More or less,
going to
we
burn
know
human
all the
blood,
places
and that is
where we were
produced
executed.
fat. When they
And
are
burning,
burned, the fat goes down into the
and
heart.
all these places
And then the heart
and
gets stuck.
protected by the
And then the air can't go through. So when the air can't go through, there's no fire. Fire means don't care. So that became a little painful. Because like that wasn't execution as they wanted it to be, they had to plan it a lot. So again, that's the reason why there were big commandments.
More or less,
There's a small exhibition, there's a small exhibition, you can see all
some smaller executions might be found during some war. For example, that's the case in Lublin. There's this district that they're going to build on a good. There were many executions during the war there, and for many years nobody was really searching for this individual grave. It's a lot of work to just dig through all these. Generally, it's usually only done when you have some construction and you happen to find a place. So there's always a chance. Lublin as a region, is a place where wherever you go, there was some kind of
this rock. Let's make a little.
Ready?
Make a little hole.
righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Moses Schulstein, the great Jewish poet, wrote of these shoes in his poem, I Saw a Mountain. I saw a mountain higher than Mont Blanc and more holy than the mountains of Sinai. Not in a dream, it was real. And on this world this mountain stood. Such a mountain I saw of Jewish shoes in Majdanek. Hear the march. Hear the shuffle of the shoes left behind. That which remained from small, from large, from each and every one. Make way for the rows, for the pairs, for the generations, for the years. The shoe army, it moves and moves. We are the shoes. We are the last witnesses. We are shoes from grandchildren and grandfathers, from Prague, from Paris, and Amsterdam. And because we're only made of stuff and leather, and not of blood and flesh, each one of us avoided the hellfire. We shoes that used to go strolling in the market, or with the bride and groom to the chuppah. We shoes from simple Jews, from butchers and carpenters, from crocheted booties of babies to just beginning to walk, and go on happy occasions, weddings, and even until the time of giving birth, to a dance, to exciting places, to life, or quietly to a funeral. Increasingly we go, we tramp. The hanged man never had the chance to snatch us into his sack of loot. Now we go to him. Let everyone hear the steps which flow as tears, the steps that measure out the judgment. I saw a mountain higher than Mont Blanc and more holy than the mountain of Sinai.
just a short summary for the Majdanek Foundation between 1941 and 1944, but then for a couple of years ago. As of, yes, but then for a couple of years ago, the Foundation of the camp. This is the third museum